I robot, Isaac Asimov. One man saw it coming. Now a major motion picture from 20th Century Fox starring Will Smith. Yeah, Will Smith. I robot, Isaac Asimov. Content, introduction, Robbie. Introduction. I look at my note and I didn't write them. I'd spent 3 days in US robot and might as well have spent them at home with the Encyclopedia Tellurica. Susan Kelvin had been born in the year 1982, they said, which made her 75 now. Everyone knew that approximately enough US Robot and Mechanical Man Incorporated was 75 also, since it had been in the year of Dr. Kelvin's birth that Lawrence Robert and had taken out incorporation paper for what eventually became the strangest industrial giant in man's history. Well, everyone knew that too. At the age of 20, Susan Calvin had been part of the particular psychomath seminar at which Dr. Alfred Lanning of US Robot had demonstrated the first mobile robot to be equipped with a voice. It was a large, clumsy, and beautiful robot smelling machine oil and destined for the projected mines on Mercury, but it could speak and make sense. Susan said nothing at the seminar, took no part in the heated discussion period that followed. She was a posty girl, plain and colorless, who protected herself against what she disliked by a mask-like expression and the hypertrophy of intelligence. But as she watched and listened, she felt the stirring of a cold enthusiasm. She obtained her bachelor's degree at Columbia in 2003 and began graduate work in cybernetics. All that had been done in the mid-20th century on calculating machines had been offset by Robertson and his positronic brain farce. The miles of relays and photocells had given way to the sponge globe of platinum iridium about the size of a human brain. She learned to calculate the parameters necessary to fix the possible variables within the positronic brain, to construct the brain on paper such that the response to given stimuli could be accurately predicted. In 2008, she obtained her PhD and joined the United States Robot as a photosynchronologist, became the first great practitioner of a new science. Lawrence Robertson was still president of the corporation. Alfred Lanning had become director of research. For 50 years, she watched the direction of human progress change and leap ahead. Now she was retiring as much as she ever could. At least she was allowing someone else's name to be inset upon the door of her office. That essentially was what I had. I had a long list of published papers of the patents in her name. I had chronological details of her promotions. In short, I had her professional beta in full detail. But that wasn't what I wanted. I needed more than that for my future articles, for interdisciplinary press, much more. I told her so. Dr. Kelvin, I said, as loosely as possible, in the mind of the public, you and US robots are identical. Your retirement will end one era and you want the human interest angle? She didn't smile at me. I didn't think she ever smiled, but her eyes were sharp, though not angry. I felt a glance slide through me and out my occiput, and knew that I was uncommonly transparent to her, that everybody was. But I said, that's right. Human interest out of a robot? A contradiction? No, doctor, out of you. Well, I've been called a robot myself, surely. Dale told you, I'm not human. That had, but there was no point in saying so. She got up from her chair. She wasn't tall and she looked afraid. I followed her to the window and he looked out. The office and factories US robot were a small city, spaced and flattened. It was flattened out like an aerial photograph. When I came here, she said, I had a little room in a building right above there where the firehouse is now, she pointed. It was torn down before you were born. I shared the room with 3 others. I had half a desk. We built our robot wall in one building. Output, 3 a week. Now, look at us. 50 years, I hackneyed. It's a long time. Not when you are looking back at them, she said. You wonder how they vanished so quickly. She went back to her desk and sat down. She didn't need expression on her face to look sad somehow. How old are you? She wanted to know. 32, I said. Then you don't remember a world without a robot. There was a time when humanity faced the universe alone and without a friend. Now he has a creature to help him, stronger creature than himself, more faithful, more useful, and absolutely devoted to him. Mankind is no longer alone. Have you ever thought of it that way? I'm afraid I haven't. May I quote you? You may. To you, a robot is a robot. Gears and metal, electricity and positrons, mind and iron. Human made, if necessary, human destroyed. But you haven't worked with them, so you don't know them. They are a cleaner, better breed than we are. I tried to nudge her gently with a word. We'd like to hear some of the things you could tell us. Can your views on robots? The interdisciplinary press reached the entire solar system. Potential audience is 3 billion. Dr. Kelvin, they ought to know what you could tell them on robots. It wasn't necessary to nudge. She didn't hear me, but she was moving in the right direction. They might have known that from the start. We sold the robot for us use then. Before my time it was, even. Of course, that was when robots would not talk. Afterward, they became more human and opposition began. The labor unions, of course, naturally opposed robot competition for human jobs, and various segments of religious opinion had their superstitious objection. It was all quite ridiculous and quite useless, and yet there it was. I was talking it down verbatim on my pocket recorder, trying not to show the knuckle motion of my hand. If you practice a bit, you can get to the point where you can record accurately without talking to little gadget out of your pocket. Take the case of Robbie, she said. I never knew him. He was dismantled the year before I joined the company hopelessly out of date, but I saw the little girl in the museum. She stopped, but I didn't say anything. I let her eyes mist up and her mind travel back. She had lots of time to cover. I heard about later, and when they called us blasphemeers and demonstrators, I always thought of him. Robbie was a non-vocal robot. He couldn't speak. He was made and sold in 1996. Those were in the days before extreme specialization, so he was sold as a nursemaid. As a what? As a nursemaid.